रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान।
He's very good at talking. He's just a polished face and an educated face.
सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। ईश्वर सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम।
The great souls during the World War I who objected and protested against carrying arms against the government decree. So it has a lot of, the conscientious objectors have a lot of parallels with our movement and also with Mahatma Gandhi satyagraha. So that's the reason why we have chosen this place in particular, because it's got the spirits of Gandhi and also the conscientious objectors. And in many ways we are conscientious objectors against corruption in India. We protest against it and we urge the government and all authorities to take the right steps and enact the Jan Lokpal bill in its full comprehensive form.
Many reasons why. But I think a comprehensive Jan Lokpal is something every Indian, wanting the best for every Indian, would want. And for me, if I just look at one reason why, one of the reasons why I've continued to stay on outside of India is I have a more equitable world that my children are growing up in. The thought of going back to India is dreadful in many ways because I don't want my children growing up in a society where sab kuch chalta hai. It's alright to overlook when you see somebody being mistreated, being a victim of corruption or playing the game of corruption, which is what I feel now in India. Corruption at every level in all forms has just percolated through the society so much that we feel a lot of it is part of our routine life. And I think that shouldn't be the case.
But aren't you being an escapist by running away from it rather than being there to participate?
Absolutely.
Clear everything.
I think in one way I've been an escapist, but it goes back to what he said. You know, we all think it's somebody else's job to clean the rubbish. You have to clean your own dirty house, and I think some of us have escaped it. Many of us who've stayed on just ignore the dirt that's around, or even just go along with it. The change has to be all around. Those Indians who've left India and those Indians who stay on in India.
I think in a democracy, I would really think that every voice counts, and there is a bit of truth in what everybody says. There is a bit of escapism. There is a bit of being, conscientious. There's a bit of everything, but then I think what India has traditionally lacked is will to act against the bad forces. I think I really support this movement of India against corruption, mainly because it's the first time, I would think, after a long time, after maybe 30 years, when somebody has said, okay, let's go and solve this problem, and then mobilized a lot of people. It is definitely not wrong or anything inferior for people outside India to participate in this. I mean, there needs to be a start somewhere, and we have started in right earnest. The irony today is, at the place where we stand, Mahatma Gandhi statue was really placed by the father of the person who is leading the Jan Lokpal committee in the parliament. There is, the irony really is that the intellectual face of India is actually covering up the bad things that happen behind it in the political class. We have very well educated people there, Manmohan Singh, Dr. Singhvi, You have Chidambarams, but well, in public they are all very fine, but behind the scenes they are not really. They're really letting the bad things happen under their very own nose, and sometimes they are themselves really highly involved in it. So that needs to change. We need to have a new class of leaders. It's very interesting that Hazare, who's probably like 80 years old, he's 74 and he's leading the movement. But people like us in their 30s, 40s, 50s, we're the next generation. We really understand what's happening in India. We need to go and participate in it. We have started here in London. We don't know. Maybe some of us would go back to India and continue participating in it.
We need more support from the general public in India and the dysphoria outside, because people are too complacent, they're too passive, too apathetic, and until we get rid of that apathy and eating laddus all day, Indians will not show their true potential.
Every Indian should ask a question to himself if he has taken participation in this movement so far, and if not, then why not? Because that is the question I think every Indian has to answer, because generally Indians tends to think that their fight would be carried by somebody else, but whosoever doesn't is playing a passive role should ask himself or herself that what the role he is playing in terms of policies of India. Everyone says that the politics is a bad word, it's a dirty thing, but politics is all about policy for the nation, and I think every Indian should get involved in the politics that is the right policies for the nation.
Also the venerated statue of Mahatma Gandhi, who is the beacon of satyagraha and ahimsa. So this anti-corruption movement in India that we are following has strong parallels with the conscientious objectors and also Mahatma Gandhi.
And staying here, how do you want to or plan to carry on your support for Hazare's movement against corruption?
Absolutely, I think it's all of us here who are assembled here. I think it's in our blood. We want to stand for what's right for India. We want Indian citizens to have the rights as a democratic citizen, because right now what's happening is democracy starts and ends with polling, going to the polling station and putting a vote. That's it. People are not benefiting from being a part of a democratic country. So we are going to continue the support in all ways and forms till we see the light.
But do you have any concrete plans?
Yeah, we have plans. Actually, we are representing India Against Corruption Great Britain chapter. We have 3 pillars of our organization, which we call action, awareness, and activism. So these are our ways of helping India be much more freer and corruption-free country.
How do you plan to take this movement forward?
Yes, very much. We got together as a group of people who are really tremendously interested in seeing things improve in India, and what brought us together really was the mobilization of the support for anti-corruption that Anna Hazare really started. We really are very proud that somebody at least has brought us together. And then initially we were here only as activists, to convey our solidarity or support for Anna Hazare's movement. But after some time we sat together, we assembled, we met many times, and we discussed what we need to really do about this. And the first thing that came to our minds was, we need to build awareness first of all, and that's the thing that is really missing in our country and amongst Indians in terms of the real impact of corruption. Today, the Transparency International says that the amount of Indian money in Swiss bank accounts is something like 80% of India's GDP. So what do we say about, what do we do about that really? And then we really thought awareness is the first step. We want to continue to provide our support to anti-corruption activities in India through our activism, our way of activating our people, mobilizing support. The third thing we would like to do is on-the-ground action. That's what we fashioned it as the 3 A's: awareness, activism, and action. On the ground, we are tying up with several NGOs in the RTI space, in the anti-corruption space in India, and trying to see what we could do being away from India. Maybe we could help them out in communications. We're setting up websites and at least talking to a lot of people about the movement in India, and we're really proud to be part of the movement as the next generation of Indians that are assuming leadership, and are planning to assume leadership in India and taking the country forward.
पतित पावन सीताराम ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान ईश्वर राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान. Keep singing. राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान. राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम. रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम. रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम. सीताराम सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम. ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरे नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान. ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरे नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान. रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. पूर्ण है विश्वास पूरा है विश्वास हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. नहीं डर किसी का आज नहीं डर किसी का आज नहीं डर किसी का आज एक दिन. मन में है विश्वास पूरा है विश्वास हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. होगी शांति चारों होगी शांति चारों होगी शांति चारों एक दिन. मन में है विश्वास पूरा है विश्वास हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाए तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगल नायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता. जय